The live-action remake of The Little Mermaid has become part of our world as it released in cinemas just last weekend. I, of course, was able to go and see it, so here's my quick 3-minute review of the movie. As with all these live-action remakes, Disney loves to show off its fantastic photorealistic CGI technology, and for the most part, visually, it looks fantastic. I think the thing that pleasantly surprised me most about this film was actually Prince Eric. In the original one, he has not really any personality, he's just used as a generic love interest character. This film, however, spends a lot more time developing him, so we really get to know him a lot better, and I think that worked in the film's favour. I think the cast here is also phenomenal. I didn't really know Halle Bailey before this movie, I'd never really seen her in anything, so I didn't really know what to think when she was cast. She does a great job as Ariel. Obviously, for a lot of the story, Ariel can't speak. And so what Halle Bailey is able to do with her facial expressions to be able to convey her feelings, her emotions, to be able to convey what Ariel would be saying is phenomenal. Melissa McCarthy was also surprisingly great as Ursula as well. I actually think Poor Unfortunate Souls was probably the best adapted song in this movie. Speaking of Ursula, that's also probably the best segue into the negative parts of this movie. It feels like somehow there's less of Ursula, and when she's one of the best parts of the movie, I don't understand why there is so little of her. This film also suffers from a similar problem that The Lion King does, in that photorealistic animals just can't emote the same way that cartoons can. There's a reason that these films were made as animation in the first place. Also, a lot of the underwater sequences, they just look bad. I know I said before that the photorealistic CGI is good, and it is, for the most part. Like when it's just showing off the animals and the ocean life and stuff, and it's just like generic shots of the ocean, that looks fantastic. But then when you start to include the real people in there, the mermaid sequences, that just, it just doesn't work. And it's because so much of it is CGI to the point where even they're all wearing like blue screen hats, like swim caps on them, and the hair is CGI, and it just looks wrong. I think one of the best parts of the original film is just how colourful and lively it is, especially during a lot of the songs, like Under the Sea is probably the biggest example of it. With this one, I have no idea why they chose to make it so dull. It's the best word I can use to describe it. I get that these films are supposed to be going for realism, but in this case, it really does hurt the film. And lastly, all the new changes and the new songs that are added, they don't feel like they're there to benefit the movie. They feel like they're there because they need to make changes in order to justify its existence. Some bits maybe are for the better, but for the most part, it just feels like changes for the sake of changes so that Disney can justify making this movie. Overall, yet again, it's another Disney live-action remake that I'm disappointed by. If you're a die-hard Disney fan, yeah, go watch it, because you'll get some enjoyment out of it. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good things about it, but if you're just a casual fan, you can just skip it, and honestly, sooner rather than later, it'll probably just be on Disney Plus anyway. Speaking of Ursula, this is...